Welcome to Wildex. This is Rhonda Swan. I am so excited to have you here today. Wildex is a platform for speakers to not only share their voice, their message, but to inspire the world.
And this is something that Elizabeth does. Her interest, she's profoundly interested in the effect of disconnect and loneliness and its effect on mental health and wellness.
If you want to change the world, change yourself. This is what we always hear, right? But I know a lot of people in this room do a ton of personal development, go to retreats, do all the things, and yet the world stays generally the same, right? So what if this is wrong, or at least incomplete? I am interested in this from my own story, which I'm about to tell you, but I'm exploring this concept with you in this talk today of why it doesn't work in this place in this time. And then I'm going to give you a 3-step framework for how I worked through this issue in my life. So, our world celebrates independence and achievement, but the second that you fall behind, you disappear. And I learned this the hard way. In 2016, I had a mystery illness pop up. I went to the doctor said nothing's there. My friends and family tried to be supportive and sympathetic, but I looked fine, I seemed fine, I just wasn't fine. And my life force is dripping out. I can't get out of bed. Obviously, I'm gonna get laid off from my job, too many sick days, not able to contribute when I am there. And then my boyfriend was next. He said, you know what, the magic is just gone. Sorry. So here I am behind the sick wall. And there is a wall between sick and well. And when you are behind the sick wall, you are behind the wall. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm in this kind of haze between not being able to sleep, not being able to be awake. And I pick up my phone and I open Instagram. Never do this, by the way. And boom. There's a picture of my ex with his new girlfriend, his arm around her, she's beautiful, she's statuesque, all the things that I am not lying in this bed. And just like that, the world moved on. And I was profoundly alone. So step 1 of this framework, do not co-sign on your own invisibility. So I'm lying in bed thinking, how do I fix this? Do I fix my body? Do I fix my life? What do I do? Because if I'm broken, it's me. That's what culture tells us. If I'm broken, it's my fault. Everyone else is crushing it, and I'm lying here in this bed. What is going on? What is wrong with me? But humans didn't always live like this. We used to have cooperative societies. So evolutionary biologists tell us about a concept called obligate collaboration, meaning we are obligated to collaborate. That's how we lived. Darwin's brought us survival of the fittest. We're not the fittest on the planet. We are not as fast as other species. We're not as strong as other species. So we have to adapt survival of the friendliest. That's how we did it. And obligate collaboration needs 3 conditions. It needs trust, it needs good communication, and it needs fairness. So, in our world today, we have swapped connection for competition. We have swapped value for visibility. So, the world wants you to believe that you are invisible in this competitive environment, because if you sit yourself on the bench, that's less work for me. And now I don't have to worry about you chasing me down to the finish line. So the world will give you every reason to believe that you are invisible, and it is your job not to co-sign on that. So finally I woke up one day and I said, I am not willing to put my life in the hands of people who do not see me. So, in step 1, where in your life have you co-signed on your own invisibility? This is your invitation to think about that. And maybe more importantly, where in your life are you currently holding the pen in your hand? Put the pen down, back away. You got to be invested in the outcome of this game. Step 2, rebuild muscle memory for connection. When I was behind the sick wall, I got very used to isolation. I got very used to being alone. Connection was hard. I didn't know how to do it anymore. So as I'm trying to heal, healing did not come easy. It was not a magical protocol. It was not a magic bullet. It wasn't see this specialist and it will all work out for you. It was a months and years-long process of gathering information, of going to appointments, of trial and error, of things that didn't work. Thousands of hours, thousands of dollars. And I recognized that healing itself is a competition. Healing is a competition. And competition keeps our nervous system in this constant stress loop. We never get a chance to pull back from that and relax and be in parasympathetic. So when we get to that place, we have to recognize that the way out, we cannot heal within the system that broke us. We cannot heal within the system that broke us. So I had to take little steps out. I had to rebuild the muscle memory for how to connect. I would call a friend, sure. A friend is easy because a friend is known territory. But to really be connecting, we have to bring other people into our world, people who wouldn't normally be there. And so I would go to the grocery store and try to compliment somebody. I would go see who I could offer aid to, like if somebody dropped a bag of groceries on the ground, how can I help pick that back up? So that's the invitation with step 2, is how can you bring more people into your world of connection, even if it's simple. Just build that muscle memory so that we can get to the grand finale, where we're back in cooperative society. Step 3, challenge the stranglehold of competition by creating microsystems of trust. So for me, I was in Marrakesh several years ago, and I wanted to go sightseeing. So I went to the city center where all the buses were, and I'm looking around for a bus map. Like, where is there a posted sign? Where is there a little thing I can take out of a box to see where I'm going? And it just didn't exist. So finally I found a friendly woman, and I said, hey, where are the bus maps? She was like, we don't have bus maps. I said, really? How do you know where to go? She said, oh, we just ask. And it was gobsmacked. It was a watershed moment for me. I used to live in New York City, and I was imagining getting into that system and not having any signs, not having any maps, and just having to navigate through Manhattan asking people where I'm supposed to go. It was a crazy thought. Yeah. But this is how the system works in Marrakesh. And that only works if you have 3 conditions present. If people know the information, if people are willing to give you the information, and if people have your best interest at heart when they do so. It's obligate collaboration. This 200,000-year-old piece of technology is alive and well in Marrakesh, but not here. So I think back to the United States, where information is guarded, it's put behind paywalls, it's given to experts only. The unspoken rule seems to be, if I paid for it with time, experience, or pain, you can't have it. You got to go do it for yourself, because if I give it to you, then that gives you a leg up. So I'm saying break the stranglehold of competition down to these tiniest pieces and replace it with a microsystem built on trust. So what that means is, if you are an entrepreneur, then you can form a collective with other entrepreneurs, maybe contribute monthly into a fund so that if somebody has a down month, there's a cushion. So this traditionally competitive relationship becomes cooperative. This is how we do it. I live in a subdivision. I'm not a parent, but I recognize the struggle that parents have. And I recognize that time is something that is incredibly valuable to them. So I can babysit kids. I can give time. That's a resource. I don't have to have kids to be invested in the future of kids in my immediate area. If you live in an apartment building, you can host weekly meals so that people are not having to constantly recreate their own meals all the time and everybody has to duplicate effort and duplicate resources. There are ways that we can challenge the stranglehold of competition because trust is the antidote to the damage that competition does. Trust is the antidote. So the bigger we can throw that net, not just my family and friends that come over for dinner, but the weird guy down the hall who you never see, who doesn't come out of his apartment, he's invited too. Everyone's invited. That's how we challenge the competitive nature that we just assume is the prevailing operating system. And we can get back to the operating system that works, which is to be able to trust one another, to be able to share, to be able to be connected to one another. So I want to leave you with this thought. The next stage in human evolution will not be technology. It will be relationship. It will be a homecoming. It will be a remembering of how we used to be. Thank you for listening.